Hey all, so as you may or may not know, over the last weekend I attended the Awdry Extravaganza tree at Tallaght in Wales, a celebration of everything Awdry. Well, almost everything Awdry. The Awdry Extravaganza is really something special. It's one of the few times where Thomas fans from all over the world get a chance to meet up and show off their models, get pictures with the trains, and see real life show props and just enjoy the hobby of Thomas. And for most of the fans who showed up at the event this year, I would say most of them had a pretty good time. However, I spent most of the weekend being secretly depressed, because believe it or not, I had foolishly lost my car keys in some sand dunes at Barmouth Beach. So I basically spent the whole of my weekend thinking about how the hell I was going to get myself and my car back to Ireland. I definitely tried to put on a brave face, but yeah, I really felt like I'd let a lot of people down, as I had many other videos planned. You're probably wondering how I lost my car keys or if I even made it back to Ireland. Well, let's begin on the day I lost my car keys, the first day. Day 1. Bala Lake. So, the weekend actually started out pretty normal. It was St. Edward's birthday, and he had invited me down to Bala Lake Railway with some of the other lads for the Awdry weekend. So, I got the ferry over from Ireland, and I drove to Bala Lake. Since I'd never actually been to Bala Lake, it was my first chance to see the engines like Holy War and Alice in person. I had a lovely time messing around with the lads at the lake. This is a pure, science experiment, right?
Yes.
To prove what? At Bala, we found this old railway truck full of stone, so naturally we made a stone quarry using some of Mark's amazing Lego Scarloey engines.
You're gonna close that.
Whee!
Smash. Yeah.
Whee! Since it was St. Edward's birthday, I got him a Trackmaster Luke model. You may or may not remember that I did a collab with him called Luke of the Irish, and in the video he mentioned that he had lost his Trackmaster Luke model.
Unfortunately, I lost my Trackmaster Luke.
So I got him one for his birthday, and to see his reaction was really sweet.
Hey, what? Oh.
I got the chance to look around the museum, we got a tour of the workshop, and we even got a video of little Alice with big Alice. After that, we decided to head down to the Fairborn Railway on the coast. We got to see some of the engines at Fairborn, and there was even this really cool G-scale layout at the railway too. Everything seemed to be going really well. However, this is where the story went from a great weekend to a nightmare weekend. You see, while messing around on the beach at Barmouth with the lads, my car keys had somehow fallen out of my pocket, and I couldn't find them anywhere. We were sort of playing around, messing around, but then I realized that my car keys are most likely somewhere around in the sand dunes. We searched for ages in sand, but we couldn't find the keys anywhere. Thankfully, Ben had let down the window on my car slightly, so I was able to gain access to the car, but without the keys, my car was now basically stuck on the estuary on the coast of Wales, and I had no idea how I was going to get myself or my car back to Ireland. All my plans for Awdry Tree were thrown out the window, but thankfully, Mark was kind enough to drop me off at the hotel while I figured out what the hell I was going to do. Luckily, after talking to the insurance company, they said that they would be able to tow the car for free, but I had to figure out who was going to get the key cut for the car. So yeah. Day 2. A Bad Day at Barmouth. So the next day, I'd originally planned to hang out at the Tallaght Railway on Friday, as I had a Fred train that day, but instead I had to wait for my insurance company to collect my car. After calling like 7 different key cutters, I eventually found a place in Aberystwyth who could cut the key for me, so it was just a matter of getting the car over there. The tow truck arrived around 1 o'clock, and so I spent the next 2.5 hours of my holiday in a tow truck. I managed to get the car to Aberystwyth, however, the mechanic said he wouldn't be able to look at the car until Sunday, which worried me slightly since my ferry left on the Monday. To add to my unfortune, I had only booked one special train for that weekend, that train being the Fred train on the Friday. By the time I got the bus back to Tallahin, I had already missed the Fred train. Man, I just couldn't catch a break that day. Although thankfully I did get to hang out with SB Tracktails, Will, Alex and John on the platform, so that was cool. And hey, when the Fred train did get back, we got treated to a never before heard audio recording of the Reverend Awdry reading out Oliver the Western Engine. So the day wasn't a complete bust. Also at the screening, a father and son overheard my voice and recognized me from my YouTube channel. They said they both really liked my videos, and after the terrible day I had, I must say, being noticed like that really cheered me up. Day 3. Awdry Extravaganza Tree, Part 1. So after losing 2 days of my holiday, I decided to make the most of it and just try enjoy the Saturday and Sunday at the Extravaganza. In the morning, me and Thomas van 2002 arrived at the wharf, where we saw Rusty being pulled in by Fred, in a very nice chocolate brown livery. Sadly, the rain washed it off. I also got to meet Super Thomas L99. Also, quick disclaimer, I'm sorry if I miss anyone in this video, there were a lot of people at the event. After breakfast in the cafe...
Disgusted.
Thomas comes to breakfast.
There he is.
Thomas comes to breakfast.
Thomas comes after breakfast.
Thomas comes after you at breakfast.
Oh no.
Ivo Hugh, the first train of the day, arrived, and so I took the train up the line with my friends John, who I met at Clearwater last year, and Dante, who I'd met at Birmingham last year at the Tom's Props thing. At the top of the line, I got some lovely photos of Ivo Hugh turning around and being coupled up to the train. On the way back down, we stopped in the railway cafe and seen these lovely models, and I got to colour in some cursed drawings of Duncan. I think he looks okay. And we have Rheneas, which I think he's been to see Barbie.
He has, yes, he's just been to see Barbie.
Right, and the plan is to make this like fire cloud so that like he's steering out Oppenheimer, but he's still Barbie himself. Yeah.
Although he does have a secret Barbie collection in the back of the shed.
Oh, does he? When the train got back to wharf, me and the Irish boys got a really cool group photo together, which is like our third one by now. Also at the station, Sleepy Henry wanted me to join her on the train back up the line, and since it was Smudger pulling us, how could I say no? Smudger rules!
Smudger rules! Smudger rules! Smudger rules! Smudger rules!
Along the way we sang songs.
Have your wheels go round. Whizzing around all day.
And I got to hold Sleepy Henry's dog.
There she is, a little bit. And there's Sleepy Henry. And there's Sleepy Henry's girlfriend.
Bruh.
After my 2 trips up the line, I retired to the garden where I met Luke. No, not that Luke, other Luke.
Hello, Luke. And hello, Luke. Hello, Luke.
Mark's model of Tallahin was steamed up, and we got some lovely shots of it running around the garden.
Oh my god.
Shut her up when you get to it.
And I finally got to meet the 2 Wills together at last. And to finish the Saturday, me, Thomas van 2002 and many others went down to the Veronica Chambers lecture. And can I just say, this was one of the most emotional lectures ever. Veronica Chambers was so nice, and she even signed my book. In fact, I got loads of people to sign my book, such as Tim Dunn, Michael White, Sam Wilkinson, Luke Ryan, and many other great people. There was a lot of interesting stuff at the lecture, like this never before seen Clive Spung illustration, or this very weird Merry Christmas Bloomer engine, or Veronica talking about how Thomas isn't a machine of war.
Thomas is not a tank. A tank is an engine of war. Thomas was a tank engine.
Although jokes aside, Veronica's speech was very emotional and I enjoyed it greatly. Me and Thomas van 2002 returned to the hotel where we enjoyed watching Don't Bother Victor. A perfect way to end the night. Day 4. Awdry Extravaganza 3, Part 2. The next day was more or less the same, although this time I got a proper look at the Duncan face.
Bruh.
We also got to see Duncan do some shunting around the yard. And I got some more photos in Rusty, and I felt pretty cool doing it. Midlander had his Fanta, Dante got hot chocolate, and Douglas found his twin.
Now, this is a very confusing time period, isn't it?
I also got some more photos with Smudger. In fact, I even got a photo with him in the cab, which was like a bucket list moment right there.
But Smudger just laughed.
Since everyone was making a big fuss about Barry and Arthur the other day, I took the liberty of buying an Arthur book from the gift shop and scribbling out Barry's name over every mention of Arthur. And funnily enough, the Midland Engine found it so funny that he gave me this very nice little drawing of them as brothers at the end of the book, which I found very sweet of him. And oddly enough, something that he had predicted. We played around with the trains.
Go on, Diesel 10. Why don't you just chill out?
And I also got a chance to meet some of the Thomas props. And hey, I met tons of Trackmaster.
Yeah. He's got the same face.
I remember seeing the pops of drinking man
That looks a little precarious. Maybe a block of wood there might have been a good idea. Yeah, I think they share heads.
I should have bought the Trackmaster one bike and compared it to this one. But...
Yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear.
His head is well known.
Oh well, you know.
After that, me and the boys decided to take the train down the line. I had originally planned to do a video called Train vs Car, but since I'd lost the car keys, we thought it might be fun instead for Mark to race the train instead, representing Wales, while I raced in the train representing Ireland, hence why both me and Ben here are wearing Irish and Welsh flags.
Hey! We're winning! We're winning!
While at the station, Duncan tried to be Merlin.
I'm invisible, what can't you see?
And I'm not going to lie though, I was a little depressed that day. Since my ferry was leaving tomorrow and I still had no idea if I'd even have car keys. Although I should mention that I wasn't the only one to lose my car keys, as Sodor NWR Steam also lost his car keys while riding the train. Although, unlike my keys, his were actually found, so good for him. Later that evening, I did an interview with Northwestern 04.
I got this keychain so that, you know, if I get car keys again, I can possibly attach them, you know, possibly.
Your house keys?
Well, I lost my house keys too, actually, so that's...
Also that evening, everyone left at the event took a huge photo together, and I must say, it was a really lovely photo. There were so many amazing people in it. After the photo, we all gathered at the station as we all bidded a farewell to Duncan on the last train of the Awdry Extravaganza tree.
Bye, Duncan! Bye! Bye!
Then, just after Duncan had left, I'd got a phone call from the mechanic saying that my key had been cut and I was over the moon with happiness. I found it a bit ironic that the extravaganza had literally just ended as I got the phone call, but I didn't care. I was just glad I was finally going home. However, I still had to somehow collect the car. Day 5. Aberystwyth. Sadly, the next day, Smudger had been turned into a suitcase, and most of the people were also leaving. But before we left the station, we all said farewell to Tom Ralt before catching the real train from Towin. Funny enough, I actually met Michael White at the platform, and apparently he'd watched and really liked my last video, which I thought was very sweet of him. I took the train down the line to Dovey Junction, where I said farewell to the lads before getting the connection to Aberystwyth, where my car was. And let me tell you, the moment I got my key was so satisfying.
I got the key, I got the secret, I've got the key to the...
I was in Aberystwyth, and my ferry was leaving Holyhead on the same day, so it was a mad dash across Wales to catch the ferry.
I genuinely never thought I would make it on this ferry. Oh my god. Ah. Now this keychain from the Awdry Extravaganza will forever be a reminder of don't lose your keys.
Adam still wonders about his old keys, but he likes spending time with friends in Wales most of all, and I think sometimes the most important keys are those we can only dream about. Don't you?